Pick up the blitz. Flag is thrown. There's your first down and a lot more for Demaryius Thomas. Swing and a shot by Freeman. Deep into the night. Back-to-back homers for the Braves.
Blake Griffin will turn. Shoot a three from the wind. Bounce. They go. Pick up the big land. They go.
All right. Good evening. Friday night. You know what that means? It's time for the number one sports podcast in the world. It's time for Sports for You. Live on YouTube. I'm John. That's Mark.
Here
on this Friday night. Hope you're getting a good start off to your holiday as we're live on YouTube and on X. So hit that subscribe button. What up, JoJo? Hit that subscribe button, that like button, share it. Get into the conversation as we're going to talk a lot of sports tonight. Lots to talk about in the NBA, MLB, NFL. I mean, well, NBA, not much in MLB, but more so NBA, some NFL stuff. As we are watching Game 3 of the Western Conference Finals, as the Oklahoma City Thunder are right now up 8 on the San Antonio Spurs with 3:48 left in the third quarter. The Spurs started out on a 15-0 run, but somehow it did not last.
Thunder being the Thunder, man. As good as the Spurs is, man, the Thunder just got experience, and that really matters, man.
It really does, and it's showing tonight. What up, Sam? So so there's a lot going on here in this series. The series is not up in one game apiece. Trying to see who will be up 2-1 going into Game 4 Sunday, and then Game 5 next Tuesday. On Tuesday, and then if necessary, there's a game. If this goes to 6, we all expect that'd be next Thursday, and if it goes to a Game 7, that'd be next Saturday. 86 minutes for the first two games of this. Games 1 and 2 for Wemby. Tonight he's only played 25, so let's see how this goes for the rest. See how this goes, but let's get into obviously talking some sports tonight, but I want to start off a little bit on the somber note. We got this news yesterday, which is sad news in the world of sports. We don't talk a lot of NASCAR, but there are some iconic figures. Right? There's Dale Earnhardt, Dale Jarrett, Jimmy Johnson, Joey Logano, and one of those also was Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch yesterday tragically passed at the age of 41. He was going through some. What up, Nessa? Shout out to little Isaiah. Hope he's paying for dinner. This news just really shook the world of sports yesterday, especially the NASCAR world, with the Indy 500 going down this weekend. I think he was actually supposed to compete in the world this weekend.
Didn't he just win race last weekend?
Yes, he did. And if you hear his last interview, it was real morbid, because you never see. You just be grateful because you never know when it's going to be your last one. And he didn't know. He had a medical issue, and
I'm pinning on my tinfoil hat, but this is gonna be after the show. I'm about to do it on air.
But hopefully, there's some medical stuff out there, and I pray that everything is. There was no foul. I pray there was no foul play there, obviously. But condolences to his family, his son, his wife and son. Obviously, did not expect this. Kyle Busch was one of the best. He did only the finest Nene chicken nuggets. Shout out to you, Isaiah. But yeah, this is just sad. This is a sad story, man. And we want to send our love to the entire Busch family, the whole NASCAR, his racing team, and everybody who was, obviously. So we get ahead to we pray for that they find some peace and solace in this tragedy, unfortunately. But RIP to Kyle Busch. All right, let's get to some sports. So I titled tonight's episode "The Last Ride," another last dance, because obviously based off the documentary about the '90s Bulls, and sounds like we might have some players who could be doing their last dances this coming season. Well, one we know for sure is going to have his last dance, and that is Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers officially announced that he is going to be retiring. That he is retiring after this season. And obviously, he was addressing the media this past week at OTAs. And he said this is going to be it. So this will be the last season for Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, this will be his 23rd year. And this will be it. Obviously, a future Hall of Famer, 4-time MVP, Super Bowl champion. But obviously, the last few years, obviously with the Jets and with the Steelers, weren't what we thought. Obviously with the Jets, and most importantly, because obviously he had the torn Achilles. And in the second year, obviously everything just came off the rails. Went to the Steelers last year, got him to the playoffs, but lost wild card weekend to the Houston Texans. But now he's coming back. He's going to play one more year for his former coach in Green Bay, Mike McCarthy, who's now the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Aaron Rodgers just said it. It's like this was it. That's it. I want to get into some of his accomplishments, but I want to play what Aaron Rodgers said in regards to why he decided to come back, and obviously this being it. So this was Aaron Rodgers at his media availability the other day.
Yeah, I love Mike T. I mean, I really appreciate the opportunity to come in last year and love my experience with him. And, I thought when he said he was stepping away, that was an emotional moment just because we all love him so much and care about him. And, I thought that that was probably it for me in Pittsburgh. But when the decision was made to hire Mike, I started opening my mind back up to coming back.
Could be your last year. Do you even think of that right now?
Yes. This is it. Yeah. Yeah, I love him.
So this is it. This is it. This is it for Aaron Rodgers. Let me give you all a rundown of some of Aaron Rodgers' accolades. I just gave you some, but as he will definitely be a first ballot Hall of Famer. But here's, if you look at Aaron Rodgers, this is what he's done. 4 MVPs, of course, Super Bowl champion, 10-time Pro Bowler, 4-time first-team All-Pro, 1-time second-team All-Pro, top 5 in passing yards and touchdowns. And of course, was a member of the 2010 All-Decade team. What do you think Aaron Rodgers' legacy is going to be when it's all said and done?
One of the best ever done it. If not the best, top 3 most talented quarterbacks we've ever seen. To me, that's where it should stop at. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the best to ever do it. And when it comes talent wise, as far as he's been a quarterback, I don't see many even the quarterbacks that you have better than him who might have had a better career, like the Tom Brady's, the Joe Montanas, even the Peyton Mannings. Like when you're talking about the most talented quarterback, he's top tier, one of them.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the most talented dudes that you've ever seen play that throw the football. Obviously, he was only able to win 1 Super Bowl.
We got to stop saying only.
Well,
we got to take the only off. Being able to win a Super Bowl is a big feat.
Well, yeah, it is a big feat. I know he wanted to win more in Green Bay. He came close a few times, but they just ran into the wrong team. We all remember what happened in the Seattle game with the botched onside kick. Ran into the 49ers. He ran into Brady with Tampa, obviously, and then. But he had a good run, whether it was with Mike McCarthy or it was with Matt LaFleur, and had some of his best years. Sam says even Mahomes said Aaron Rodgers was a big influence on him. That says a lot. He was definitely a big influence on a lot of quarterbacks this generation. So hopefully, as you know, he's now going to move. This is probably the next stop for him after this season is going to be Canton, Ohio. So hopefully.
I think certain players shouldn't have to wait until they retire. I mean, I know what the rule is, but it's just certain players that shouldn't have to wait. Like, I think Aaron Rodgers should be able to be in the Hall of Fame while he's still playing. Like, you know, he's his first ballot. That's not no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, players like LeBron should already be in the Hall of Fame. I just think that certain players, even while they playing, dog, we should just be able to give them
yeah. So, but we know that day when that day comes, that would change the game. But we'll see if it ever happens one day. But Aaron Rodgers, this is it. He's going to be calling it a career after this year, and the Steelers. There's no expectation for the Steelers this year. I mean, Mike McCarthy's there in his first year there.
They won a division last year.
They did win the division last year, but are they clearly the best team in that division?
No. But they wasn't the best team in the division last year, and they still won it.
So you're seeing what happens, but can Aaron Rodgers finally get this team out of the wild card weekend for the first time since 2016? He had a wonderful.
No, I don't think that's gonna happen. But salute to him.
So, but congratulations on a Hall of Fame career. Enjoy the gold jacket when you get it in the next 5. Another guy who probably will have a gold jacket when he's done, without a doubt, is Matthew Stafford. And yesterday, Matthew
without a doubt.
Without a doubt. Yeah, I don't know whoever said people saying that he isn't. That's just stupid. I don't care if you think he's the first ballot Hall of Famer. That's that which he is. But Matthew Stafford yesterday signed a 1-year, $55 million extension with the LA Rams. So he'll be quarterbacking for the next 2, at least for the next 2 seasons here in LA with Sean McVay. And obviously he did sign the contract, had the entire Stafford clan right there, his wife Kelly and their 4 daughters.
Who's the Rams' backup quarterback?
That'd be one Tiberius Simpson.
You gotta watch out for him. You know, his wife like to.
His wife like to what?
Nothing.
Yeah, you good?
Fuck backup quarterbacks.
You good?
Me?
You good?
Man, shout out to Georgia, man.
You good?
Me? Yeah, shout out to Georgia. But she the one that said it.
Yeah, that was a crazy story.
Her and Jada Pinkett is the same.
Yo, are you trying to say Matthew Stafford was in an entanglement?
No, I'm just saying both their wives don't put them in the best position to look the best. That's all.
Well, maybe they like being in awkward positions.
The men?
I said maybe they like being in awkward positions.
The men?
No, I said no, the wives.
Oh, right, go ahead.
But yeah, for those who don't know what it's talking about, go listen to Kelly Stafford on her podcast. Talk about how she.
Nope.
Hey, this is public record now. She talked about how she made Matthew Stafford jealous at Georgia by hooking up with the backup QB. Talking about going for the 2-point conversion. But Matthew Stafford is staying with the Rams, and it's no surprise. I think it was just all a matter of how many years he wants to keep playing. He wants to come back and try to win another Super Bowl for the Rams. And then probably a career. And then he'll be on his way to getting the gold jacket. His coach was doing a lot of talking, though, over the last 24 hours, Mark.
I haven't heard anything he said.
So Sean McVay, he was on the Bustin' with the Boys podcast.
He was on what? What's the name of the podcast?
Bustin' with the Boys.
On On purpose, they named that, or like
that's the name of the podcast. Bussing with the Boys. It's Taylor Lewan and Will Compton. And Sean McVay was on. I'm dead serious. You don't think that's the name of the podcast?
No, John, I believe you. I just want you to know how crazy that sounds.
All right.
There we go.
Yeah.
Like a circle jerk.
Yo, you good? But yeah, but Sean McVay was making the rounds on this podcast. And here he was talking about, obviously, the Matthew Stafford Jared Goff trade, and then he also talked about how he almost quit after his first and so far only losing season of the NFL in his NFL career. Here's first him discussing how he would have handled the Matthew Stafford Jared Goff trade probably a little different.
I'm super sensitive to what an amateur I was with the Goff situation, trading him. You say, well, why do you say that? You want to talk about lack of courage, lack of clarity, lack of ability to be able to look somebody in the eye that you've had a lot of really cool experiences with and tell them, hey, not easy to say, but we might explore an opportunity to acquire Matthew Stafford and you'll be a part of a trade there. But instead, it's like, you kind of get frustrated and it was more really about me than it was ever him in terms of like, I had a lot of things that I needed to be able to work through, and I didn't handle that the right way. And I'm not saying that we wouldn't have made the decision, but the handling of it was exactly the antithesis of how I would hope to handle things moving forward. I don't run away from that.
Is it a thing that you're like delivering ideas and news differently, or you look back and you're like, okay, I was just avoiding some conversation.
Yeah, I think it's really
you kind of just let the business take care of it, and then I kind of just sit back like, hey, this wasn't.
There's a lot of stuff that goes on. I think the important thing is to operate with clarity for people. You say, okay, so what do you mean by that? I was frustrated. Did I ever have the courage to really sit him down after that season in 2020 and really tell him, hey, there's a possibility that we'll explore some avenues that might lead to you not being our quarterback moving forward? No. Would I do it differently now? Absolutely. Because I think the biggest thing that I learned that he was able to share, and I appreciate his honesty on all of that, and there is nobody to blame but myself, but it was really like, what did he not like the most about it? He was caught off guard. You're like, where did this come from? Because I didn't have the courage to really be able to communicate in the middle or in the midst of it. And so now it's almost kind of like you got this, whether it's you say it's a good conscience on your shoulder of like, man, if you love people enough, you got to keep it real with them. And there's always this balance of, the empathy, but also more importantly, the honesty.
That was Sean McVay talking about the Jared Goff, how he would have handled, going about the Jared Goff Stafford trade different. We all remember how it happened. He was on vacation, and when Andrew Whitworth was on vacation, him and Andrew Whitworth had to be on the same vacation, and Matthew Stafford was on the same island, and the deal went down just like that, and they was able to make the deal happen. And Matthew Stafford ended up with the Rams, and Jared Goff obviously gets traded to Detroit. Another thing Sean McVay talked about was obviously one of his low points of his career was the year after they won the Super Bowl. They went 5-12. And it was a lot of, and he almost thought about quitting coaching after his first real adversity as a head coach.
But it took that 5-12 year where you're really getting broken down. And I'm almost quit coaching. And you could use the narrative that I was going to go to media or whatever, but like the truth would have been I was quitting because I couldn't handle the losing. It was almost like a scarlet letter. I mean, there was moments that you think about it, it's like so crazy to me. I was like counting down the days for that season to be over. What a fraud. And then I'll never forget though, I remember explaining the situation to my wife, Veronica. Maybe I'll step away. It's going to be a really tough upcoming season. Maybe
so the situation you're explaining to her is like here are my options on the table.
Here are my options.
Massive media deal.
Had some media stuff. And if I had done that, I would have conveniently hid behind that. But the reality is I would have been quitting. Basically, I was trying to rationalize and justify why I should do it. And it's like, okay, let's step away, maybe even come back to coaching. And it coincided with her being pregnant with our oldest, Jordan. And I remember I was explaining it and she just kind of looked at me and it was very loving and supportive, but it was like, man, this is only coming from your wife where it really landed the punch. And she's like, that never really sounded like the kind of leader you wanted to be. And I was like, boom. it hit me like a ton of bricks. And I also remember thinking to myself, the most important thing I've always wanted to do was be a father and be a husband. And I'll never be able to look at my little boy when he grows up and goes through adversity and say, do as I say, not as I did. And that was when immediately you're like, I'll never be able to live with myself if I did this.
Sean McVay talking about some of his toughest times. He also did mention how about he was asked about Ty Simpson again, and he said the same thing. So I don't even really need to play all that. But what did you make of those two quotes videos from McVay? First of all, how he said he would have handled situations with the Stafford Goff trade, and how sometimes he really thought about quitting because he had never really had any adversity in his coaching career.
How he would have handled the trade, I think that's all like subjective. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I don't think he handled it wrong. Now, the other piece of it is the most important thing to me is him almost quitting, and not because outside noise is saying he wasn't good enough. It's his own inner feelings of saying he's not good enough.
Yeah.
That says a lot. You know what I'm saying? Without him even saying it, that says a lot. I am glad that his wife and the bigger part of, I don't want my son to see this, or I don't want to, tell my son do as I do, and you doing that quit when adversity hit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad he took the route of sticking it out.
Boss.
But that's to me, that's the most important piece, and that's the most telling piece to me.
Yeah, that was the telling piece. That was the most telling part with me was obviously McVay, since he's been a head coach, he's been pretty much now kind of like the standard right now for coaches. Obviously, his coaching tree gets plucked every year. You see, Sam? Plucked. Relax. I'm just happy my guy McVay is still our Rams head coach. I think he'll be like Bill Cowher, stay with one team and retire like 15 years. By the way, it's kind of crazy because McVay is actually approaching his 10th season as the head coach of the Rams. It only seemed like that was just yesterday. When the Rams hired him as the youngest coach, first time a 30-year-old head coach got hired in the NFL. What up, Bill Will? But I'm glad he didn't. I think he would have been good on television, but coaching in football is in this dude's bloodline. If you look at his family, his grandfather. Yeah, you good? Okay, you good?
Right behind the coach.
All right. Okay. Yeah, nice. Yeah. Well, that's them. Oh yeah, that's them. Instagram. I forgot her name on Instagram. But his grandfather, John McVay, was of course the legendary general manager of the 49ers throughout the Montana, Rice, and Bill Walsh years. So football has always been in this dude's blood. So I'm glad he didn't quit, and obviously he's got some unfinished business. He obviously wants to win more Super Bowls as a head coach of the Rams before he retires. He's going and continue just doing what he loves best. Another quarterback that was talking was Joe Burrow.
So what did Joe Burrow say?
So Joe Burrow, obviously at OTAs, talked about the Bengals, his team, and what he thought about this roster that's been constructed this season. So here's Joe Burrow speaking to the media on yesterday or Wednesday.
I mean, you saw what this roster looked like in 2021, albeit you were young, but that was a Super Bowl roster. Do you think what you see right now from this organization and in that locker room is a Super Bowl roster?
I think this is the most talented roster that we've had since I've been here.
47 away. 48 for breaking.
Doable.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
Sure.
I mean, you saw what this roster looked like in 2021, albeit you were young.
Is this the most talented roster that the Bengals have had? We all focus on offense. We focus on
I'm
Jamar
looking at their
Chase.
defense. I think
I need to see what their defense looks like.
I do think that this is probably the most talented offense. I think they improved the offensive line. I don't know how bad. I mean, you can only improve how bad it was last year. Jamar Chase, Higgins is, older, more experienced. Of course, they better than what they was when they went to the Super Bowl. I think the offense might be better. I just got to see what their defense is. They get rid of their wonder, of course. Brandon Bean signed him. So,
and then obviously we know Trey Hendricks is now in Baltimore, and obviously they bring in Al Golden as their new as their defensive coordinator. I'm just wondering, so I will. So yeah, it's a lot to talk about, a lot to discuss, but let's look ahead to something else we'll talk about in the world of sports. College football. Boy, college football. You cannot be kidding me that we're really honestly talking about this 2014 playoff. I really thought this was a joke, but it clearly isn't. So this has been the talk of the town, a talk of college football lately. We're about 3 months, little under 100 days from the start of college football season, and the story is the possibility of the college football playoff extending to 2014, which we agree is flat out stupid. So, Big Ten Commissioner Tony Petitti, he spoke about it. He said, "Inside our league, there's a deep commitment to 24 and the access." He says the desired access comes from the investment programs are making. What are we talking? What are we doing here? One of the voices in college football I respect is a guy by the name of Josh Pate. He used to write for Yahoo. He appears on Get Up every week during the college football season. He hosts the Josh Pate College Football Podcast or something like that. He was on Get Up the other day talking about this possibility, how this is clearly the worst idea for college football is them extending the 24 teams for the playoff.
How do you feel about the possibility of a 2014 college football playoff?
One of the worst ideas I've heard, Greeny. Not just that. If you go back to when we had 4 and you would have polled the college football fans, the college football public, there would have been supermajority support to expand. Most people wanted expansion back then. Personally, I didn't, but I was in the minority back then. Even now with the general public, this is one of the most unpopular movements or proposals that we've seen in a long time. And look, I'll sanitize my opinion for the sake of air down to this. It's not just Tony Petitti. Okay, the ACC has caved and they're on board with this. The Big 12 has caved. The coaches are calling for it. Shocker. One of the bigger shockers of all this, building a giant safety net under you contractually. But I ask this. If I were to just sit these people down at that table, it's you, it's Mr. Michael, and it's people who are voicing these opinions. And I would have said, what makes college football great to you guys? Do you know how many blank stares you would get on your face? Do you know how much shuffling and how much nervous body language there would be to try and contrive a football-based answer? Because they don't know. To them, it's an ATM. To them, it's, well, we can screw up all we want to, and we'll just bail ourselves out by expanding the play. It's federal government level stuff is what it really is from people who run college football. What makes college football great is, of course, the regular season. What makes college football great is Saturdays in the fall. And for a lot of us who love this sport, anything that treads on Saturdays in the fall is going to really, really get us aggravated and mobilized. I'm one of them. And so I frankly don't care what you've done in Major League Baseball. I can respect it, but I don't. And I don't care how this sport compares to the NBA or NFL, because college football is one of one to us. The regular season is the nucleus of this sport. And any infringement on it, it really aggravates people like me. And apparently I'm not alone here.
I cannot have agreed more with what Josh Pate said. What up, Chris? I
agree with him 100%, man. Like I said before, when Cody was on the show, we first talked about this. back when I started watching college football and loving college football, man, a regular season meant something, man.
Yes.
And when you start expanding to 24 teams, you lower the value of your own product.
This makes zero sense. We all know this is a money grab. This all this is. These the Big Ten and all these it's a money grab for these for these Power 5 conferences. We gonna put some mediocre teams in the tournament. Why? The scarcity of the college football playoffs is what made it elite. Every Saturday, the college football season meant something. Now, if you expand it, look, I'm not too down on 12, but that's enough. But that's enough. But let me be perfectly clear. If you expand this playoff to 24 teams, you're going to be the biggest joke in college sports. Be the biggest joke in college sports. Do not. And we already got the NCAA tournament expanding the 76. Don't do this to college football, please. I beg of you. But I know you're going to do it anyway. Because all y'all seen is dollar signs.
Like you said, it's an ATM.
Josh Pay said, straight ATM. All y'all seen is dollar signs, and y'all not seeing that y'all really are ruining y'all product by adding more games. It's not worth it. We do not need more college football playoff teams. We don't.
No, we just need teams to play better in the regular season, man.
Yes. Stop playing like
all these.
Go ahead.
I feel like if we start getting back to, or we get back to teams playing teams, and stop playing like El Camino Junior College or Santa Monica Junior College, so you can boost up your wins, man. Like I said, man. Back when I started college football, the regular season meant something, man. The big games, you know what I'm saying? It always meant something, man. Now you putting these 24 teams in the playoffs, like you can lose 2 or 3 games and still get into the playoffs. I don't care about that no more.
Man, yeah, I mean, come on. We do not need all this. Just we got 12 games in the season. Stop playing some of these really bad schools, like Mark said. So y'all can blow these dudes out by like 70 points, and their athletic department get a nice fit, a nice check. Just get your mind right, NCAA. We don't need this. We really don't. But I'm prepared for y'all. Y'all gonna do this anyway. So it is what it is, unfortunately. I hate seeing that y'all gonna ruin a really beautiful game because
of money.
Because of dollar signs. And speaking of dollar signs, we get talk dollar signs in college football. There's only 3 letters that matter. SEC. And the SEC obviously will always be the dominant conference. They'll always be the conference everyone
is compared to.
And obviously we know LSU's got a new look. They've hired Lane Kiffin to be their new head coach. And one of the reports that was out there at the start of this, when he was getting hired, was a reunion of a certain figure at LSU.
Uh-oh.
And it finally happened. Coach O is back at LSU. Ed Orgeron, of course, former Ole Miss coach, interim coach at USC, head coach at LSU, led them to the national championship in 2020 with that team led by Joe Burrow and Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase and Thaddeus Moss. Is now coming back as the special assistant to recruiting and defense, which we all knew he was going to do because he has a very special relationship with Lane from their time at USC. He was with Lane in Tennessee, and now he's coming. Obviously, he's still getting paid by LSU, so he's going to come back and help with recruiting. To get help with recruiting. Look at this.
That means he get paid twice from LSU.
So LSU is still paying. Obviously, they're paying Lane Kiffin's contract, which is $91 million. They're paying $71 million in buyouts between Brian Kelly and Coach O. And now Coach O is back as a special advisor to help the special assistant to help with recruiting and helping LSU defenses, helping out the LSU defense. This wasn't a surprise, and I don't put nothing ever past Lane Kiffin. Can Coach O still go into these living rooms in this NIL era and still convince players to come to Baton Rouge? Because we all know now, it's more than just going into the living room convincing the parents. You gotta have a bag. And does LSU, can Coach O go in there and help deliver some 5 stars to Death Valley? That is the question. We will find out. Let's go ahead and move over to what we're watching. We got the NBA playoffs on right now, and the Oklahoma City Thunder look like they're about to take a 2-1 lead on the San Antonio Spurs. And obviously the playoffs are up and running. We are down to 4 teams. And obviously these teams, the bracket is now off to the Final Four. So let's look at how this playoffs look right now. Currently, obviously the Thunder and the Spurs are currently tied at 1, but it looks like the Thunder are finally take a 2-1 lead. And then the New York Knicks are up 2-0 on the Cleveland Cavaliers with Game 3 tomorrow as the series shifts to Cleveland. What up? Tig said the Spurs don't look ready yet. What up, Dale? We just talked about your LSU Tigers bringing back Coach O, so shout out to you, Dale.
Coach Orgasms?
Yo, you good? You all right?
Huh?
You
Is
all
that
right?
what they do at LSU?
You good?
They Coach Orgasms?
Okay. You all right? You all right, man? Okay. But yeah, that's the way the bracket is looking right now. But let's talk about last night. The Knicks are cooked. I mean, the Cavs are cooked.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
They're cooked. The Cavs are cooked. They're cooked.
That first game did it, man.
Yeah.
And then if that wasn't bad enough, they was up by 18 last night, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they still can't. And they still find a way to give up the lead. I know we so hard on James Harden, because of. I just want everybody just to go look at what Donovan Mitchell be doing.
Well, he's playing like Donovan McNabb.
What Donovan Mitchell be doing when they giving up these leads, man. I know it's easy to pick on James Harden.
Tig, relax. Go ahead.
I know it's easy to pick on James Harden because James Harden's history, but y'all just go look at what Donovan Mitchell be doing when they be giving up these leads.
He disappears too. And I also got to say someone else disappeared. How the hell did Evan Mobley have 14 points at halftime and didn't take a single shot in the second half?
Now, I do blame that on James Harden.
How the heck does that happen?
You need a point guard. You need a point guard, man.
Look, we'll talk more about the Cavs offseason when we get to Cancun, whenever their season ends, because they really got to make it. Because obviously, we all know why James Harden is there, and they're going to have a huge decision to make, and I think they've already made it. As Jalen Williams, Jay Will just hit a 3 and 1, and now the Thunder are up 14, and he goes to lift to complete a 4-point play. There was no J-Dub tonight. Jalen Williams, the All NBA
dog. It don't even matter, man. I'll be honest with you, it don't matter.
It don't. He's out with a hamstring, and obviously the Spurs got De'Aaron Fox and Dylan Harper back for this game, but it just don't matter right now. The Thunder are looking like the superior team right now. And now Game 4 Sunday, they can be up 3-1, Pop. They can be up 3-1. Heading back to a Game 5 on their home court on Tuesday night. But yeah, I look at what the Knicks did last night. Josh Hart had a game of his best playoff game of his career. And this is when Jalen Brunson was struggling last night. So It wasn't all Jalen Brunson. Josh Hart went out there and was struggling. I mean, they say Mikal Bridges has been balling. But like I said, Donovan Mitchell disappeared. Evan Mobley not getting a single shot in the second half. That makes 0 sense. I don't want to hear nothing about analytics, Kenny Atkins. Analytics is why you're keeping James Harden on the floor defensively. I'm sorry. Have you not watched? Let's say analytics why you're keeping him on the floor offensively, because I understand that.
I don't.
But he still, when it comes to the playoffs, we all know what James.
This is not the Houston Rockets James Harden, so I don't need him on the floor if he's not at his tip-top shape. And like I said, man, you need a point guard, man. The point guard was Evan Mobley has 14 points at halftime, and make sure he at least gets shots in the second half. Now, if he makes them, that's up to the point guard. But it comes to a point when, and maybe me being a point guard, I'm so biased when it comes to this. You need a point guard, man. Sometimes I said for San Antonio, slow the game down. It's too many turnovers to run the offense, dog. When you with Cleveland, you have to see who got the hot hand, who's got it going, and you got to make sure they keep getting touches. Him not to get no shots in the second half, I blame that 100% on James Harden.
That makes 0 sense, and I don't hear nothing about analytics. Analytics don't tell you that Evan Mobley should have 0 shots in the second half. Stop it. Stop it. Just stop it. I don't hear about analytics keeping James Harden on the floor. No, he's getting cooked, but y'all gonna let these analytics be the death of y'all.
Well, the analytics. Oh, never mind. That's what killed Houston. That's what killed. Never mind.
That's what killed Philly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we're seeing we're actually seeing they got 3 players that was on their roster that's playing in the Western Conference Finals. So yeah, game 3 of that series tomorrow, and then game 4 on Monday. The Knicks could possibly be this series by Monday. They take care of business tomorrow. We have some more awards handed out. Let me start with the all rookie team. So while we were away, they announced the all rookie teams for the NBA. And that was clear. And obviously we have the first team led by Rookie of the Year Cooper Flagg, along with Con Knipple, Dylan Harper, VJ Edgecombe, and Cedric Howard were the top for the first team. The second all rookie team, we got Ace Bailey, Jeremiah Fears, Colin Murray Boyles, Derek Queen, and Maxime Raymond from the Kings. So congratulations to those guys. But this first team right here, I want to talk about. Obviously, we know what Cooper Flagg's going to be. We're seeing what Con Knipple is. We're watching Dylan Harper right now.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Cedric Howard.
Is he brave?
He had a better rookie year than Ace.
I would need to see the numbers. I didn't watch on Memphis, and Memphis was trash. But I know Ace, but so was Utah. But I need to know how the voting. I mean, the voting is available. I didn't really look at it, but unless he played more games. But yeah, but these 10 young men had
salute to all 10 of the all freshman team, all rookie team.
Had good appearances during their rookie season. So congratulations to them. Tonight before this game, the all defensive teams were
Cedric Howard. Sorry, John.
Yeah.
Cedric Howard averaged 13 points, 5.6 rebounds, 2.6 assists, shooting 41% from 3-point range. That's really good.
How did Ace Bailey do?
Ace Bailey averaged 13.8, 4.2 rebounds. Bailey was especially lethal at the All-Star break. 18.3 points a game over the closing stretch.
So probably just a vote.
It's probably because he got started going late in the season.
Yeah. So, but he's on the rise.
But shout out Ace Bailey, Eric.
Yeah. All defensive team was announced. No surprise here.
Hey, can I go back real quick?
2. This is the second team.
First team. Hey, you know if Ace Bailey made first team, that'd have been 2 Rutgers players who didn't make the tournament last year. Would have been the first team all rookie.
Yeah, it'd been him.
That says a lot about Rutgers coaching staff, and I think they got a good player this year too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, my bad.
Yo, Tig, relax. All defensive team. No surprise with the first team. Obviously, Wemby, Oscar Thompson, Chet Holmgren, Rudy Gobert, and Derek White round out the first team. Imagine that we got 3 centers on the first team. You got 2 wingmen.
I think next year one of them centers is gonna be gone. 2 of them centers gonna be gone, but I think the other Thompson twin gonna be on there next year.
I'm shocked he didn't make it this year, but it didn't make it to the second team. The second team, Bam Adebayo, OG Anunoby, Scotty Barnes, Dyson Daniels, Casey Wallace.
He didn't make the second team neither?
No,
that's crazy.
I know votes, but these were your top 10 defenders according to the
Scotty Barnes got that.
Scotty Barnes, Bam Adebayo,
Dyson Daniels,
OG Anunoby,
Casey Wallace. I'm not mad at that. I would have put the other Thompson twin over there probably above Casey though, but they both good defenders.
And then it wasn't the only time you heard Bam Adebayo's name. He won the NBA Social Justice Champion Award.
Oh, because he had the 83, right?
Yo, you good? This is something for off the court, not on the court.
Oh.
But Bam Adebayo was named the NBA Social Justice. Wait, no Lakers? Yo. Yeah, no Lakers made all defensive team. Heartbreaking. But here's what the statement from the NBA. They announced that Miami Heat center Bam Adebayo was your 25-26 NBA Social Justice Champion, receiving the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar Trophy. The NBA will also donate $100,000 to the BAM Books and Brotherhood Foundation, consistent with the award's history of donating to an approved charitable beneficiary selected by the winner of their behalf. Adebayo selected from a group of 5 finalists, helping promote social justice and advancing Kareem's life mission to engage and empower and drive equality for communities that have been historically disadvantaged and under-resourced. Through the BAM Books and Brotherhood Foundation, Adebayo has continued to make a lasting impact through his commitment to educating equity, food security, and youth development in communities across South Florida and North Carolina. During the season, he led 18 social justice and impact-focused initiatives, investing more than $500,000 into programs designed to expand access and opportunity for youth and families. Adebayo's efforts include providing mattresses, uniforms, and school supplies for students at the Seed School of Miami, funding transportation for more than 19,000 students to attend the Miami Book Fair, and hosting mentorship and enrichment experiences designed to expose students to new opportunities and career pathways. He's also addressed food insecurity through the large-scale holiday meal distribution, serving thousands of families across South Florida, and hosted his annual toy drive at the Heat Arena at the Casey Center, serving more than 2,000 children and distributing over 36,000 toys. Through his BAM basketball camp and ongoing support of the Liberty City Warriors youth program, Adebayo's continued to remove barriers to participation in sports, mentorship, and opportunities for unserved youth. Additionally, he donated a renovated Miami Heat-themed basketball court at the Camila's House homeless shelter to create a permanent recreation and wellness place for residents experiencing homelessness. So congratulations to Bam Adebayo on this award. Huge congrats. Yeah. Did you say malarkey? Yeah. The investigation is, where is the Lakers defense? Spurs started 15-0 losing by 10. OKC didn't even flop that much. Because they're just a better team. Just a better team, Tig. They're just a better team. That's all it is. But congratulations, Bam Adebayo, on that achievement, and keep continuing to make an impact in your community. And he spoke on the pregame show, just said, you have a platform, use it and try to advance, help, make a difference. And salute to Bam. Obviously, he's doing big things out there in the South Florida community.
Is your other thing?
Obviously, you talk about South Florida. There was a player who was also very familiar with that community. And that is one LeBron Raymond James. LeBron James, on his podcast, Mind of the Game, he got to talk about the Lakers season and how things, didn't really go in their favor. I want to play you what he said about why Why the
Thunder.
Los Angeles Lakers lost to the Oklahoma City Thunder. So, okay, not that one. Not that one. I share that, but let's look at it. LeBron talked about how the Thunder how Lakers pretty much played to the maximum. This is on the latest edition of Mind of the Game with him and Steve Nash.
Is that nature. But at the end of the day, there's 29 teams, if that's the case, who are all failures, if that's always the narrative.
Right.
Because it's only one champion, every year. So, I have the passion and the admiration to host the Larry O'Brien Trophy up every single year, but I also have a realization of, what particular team I have been a part of in that particular year. And, understanding this year, we fought and we played to the maximum ability of our team. But ultimately, if we're being completely honest, we were out-talented. We were not outworked. We were not, they didn't out-physical us. They didn't outsmart us. I feel like we were just out-talent, by OKC. They just possessed so much more talent.
Yeah.
And they might have had a couple more possessions where some IQ could kick in, but that happens throughout the course of the game. That goes for both teams. I feel like there's times where we had moments where we out-Q'd them, but IQ'd them. So, but at the end of the day, we failed in talent. OKC just possessed so much more talent than us, and you can tip your cap to them, obviously. And understanding that, but you can't get caught up in that, especially when you know that you're undermanned for sure.
LeBron is absolutely correct, and I know some people who had a problem with this. I don't know why. He didn't throw nobody underneath the bus.
He did, and he wasn't lying. We did everything we could. We didn't have a bad series,
dog.
We just. This is why I kept telling people I wanted to face the Spurs in the second round.
I don't know if I want to do that.
I would have took my chances with them. I knew what was going to happen. Like if we played the team in blue,
it'd have been the same. Okay.
I probably, but I don't think we would have got swept.
I don't think we would have got swept.
I don't think we would have got swept. I'm serious.
These are two best teams in the.
Yeah, but I still, like we're seeing, I still think experience matters. I still think experience matters. I still think experience matters. I think we would have had a better chance getting past the Spurs than getting past the Thunder. I knew we weren't getting past the Thunder.
Nobody have a chance to get either one of these teams except for these two teams. To me, it's not about a better chance or not, John. I understand you saying y'all might not get swept. I think both these teams sweep y'all, especially without Luka. I think that the experience of Golden State, of OKC, is what killed y'all. But if y'all played the Spurs, it'd have been depth. And
that's what I'm saying.
And young, I don't. Yeah, all right.
All
right. It'd have been 4-0 either way. Either way y'all played, man. I know it might look better because OKC is beating San Antonio like this.
No, that ain't why. I got OKC winning in 7.
OKC is beating San Antonio like this because they have the talent as well as experience. You have to have both. And I do think that, outside of LeBron, Luka didn't play. But outside of LeBron, who got the experience for Lakers?
Marcus Smart has experience. I think the whole team had experience. I think they got more experience than them. Now, I still think we would have it would have been an uphill climb, but I would have liked my chances more against the Spurs than I did with the Thunder.
I think you just who you want to travel further against. You want to go closer to San Antonio or further to OKC? That's all that really mattered.
I swear, that's where the whole time I felt that we should have got the 3 seed, even with the Luka.
You said Smart got the experience. It didn't look like it.
Well, because look who we played.
It'd have been the same thing.
I'm not saying, Mark. I'm not
saying
we would have just. I'm not saying it's a lock that we would have beat San Antonio. I'm saying I would have liked our chances more beating the Spurs than having any chance of beating OKC.
Oh, I agree with you. I think I agree with that.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think we probably would have lost. We probably would have lost to the Spurs too. But I still think we would have had a better chance because I still think there was some. We're seeing it here. I still think some inexperience would have showed up with San Antonio that LeBron could have capitalized on. But that is what it is. Okay, that is what it is. Like Rob said, rather the Spurs would have swept us. Not Lakers had no. They probably didn't, but I still would have liked our chances more against them than I did against OKC. I knew what was happening with OKC. People just asked me. You probably would ask me. I probably would have said the same thing with the Spurs, but I don't think we would have got cursed up. And wow. Is it really thundering in San Antonio?
I don't think that y'all got curved something against OKC.
No, we just lost because we just lost.
I think what happened with OKC happens a lot, especially in sports, but it mainly happened in college football, dog. You ever seen games where, like, John, you a Tennessee fan, where like y'all play against a team that's not as good in the first half, they kind of keep up with y'all just because they got a game plan. And then the second half, the difference in talent shows up.
Yeah, it would have showed up.
I think that's what happens with OKC. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think y'all was good. I think y'all was a good team. It's just OKC and San Antonio was so far ahead of everybody else in the NBA. It don't fucking matter. It's nothing against the Lakers. I don't want it to make it seem like it's something against the Lakers.
No, I agree with what you're saying.
It's just they so far ahead of above everybody else, dog. It don't really matter.
And I agree with that. I just felt like we would have had a better chance with the Spurs. That's just the way I felt.
I'm not about that.
That's why I felt. When the moment we got the 4 seed, I already knew to get my plans for Cancun ready after Mother's Day.
Well, I think y'all had a better chance to win a game against the Spurs. I give you that.
Yeah,
but either way it go, dog, it would have been. It was good. Y'all wouldn't get past second round no matter what, especially without Luka. Now, if Luka would have came back,
I think if we would have got at least 5 or 6, Luka would have came back. But that's here. But that's not here or there. That's not here or there. But here's what LeBron. But everyone's talking about LeBron's decision in the offseason.
But he was right. My bad, John. He was right. Y'all did get out talented, and what y'all did with the lack of talent to even make it that competitive, dog, is goes down to the coaching of JJ. I think, and I'm not always the biggest fan of JJ, but I think he didn't do a bad job.
Yeah, you're right. You're right there, Tig. Harrison Barnes is only worse, and he's not even playing. So, he barely played. But here's what LeBron had to say because everybody's wondering where is he going to be come July. So here's LeBron talking about his offseason and his thought process and going into free agency.
I assume knowing you'd probably only want to go in a positive environment where you can win.
Yeah, absolutely.
Year 24 is not a starting at the bottom.
Yeah. No, there's no way. There's no way. Just, winning is most important because you want to be excited about going to work every day. You want to be excited about, like I said earlier, winning the day, and being around a group of guys that, feel the same way and trying not to take steps backwards. Understand the season is a long marathon and whatever the case may be. But those building blocks throughout the course of the season is what matters to when you get to the marathon. And that's when you get to the sprint, which is now, the postseason. So yeah. I'm not going anywhere where it's a start over at year 24 or things of that nature. I'm done with that.
I assume knowing you
LeBron, all right, so that was what he said about his offseason. But here's another thing. LeBron said he's going to, do his due diligence, talk to his family and everything. Obviously, he brought up, his wife, brought, Bronny being in the league. Bryce going to his second year at Arizona. His daughter, she's 12 years old. She's killing it on the volleyball circuit. He said he could take anywhere from late June to August. LeBron, stop BSing, dude. You're not taking to August to make your free agency decision. You know why? This is why. And we go ahead and give you want to respond to Tig's quote about Harrison Barnes?
Kicking off with Yeah, no, he's right. Harrison Barnes is the only one with winning experience, but when your team is just significantly better, that experience don't matter. So they're running to this Thunder team because this Thunder team has championship experience. But anybody else basketball outside like Boston or something like that, or the Knicks, okay, I mean San Antonio is significantly better than everybody else in basketball outside of OKC.
So LeBron, this is why I know he's not taking to no August. He's going to be at Fanatics Fest, hosting a live edition of the game with Tyrese Halliburton as a special guest co-host. You know, usually it's Steve Nash. Before that was JJ, but this for Fanatics Fest is going to be Tyrese Halliburton. So shout out to Tyrese Halliburton. Hope you get healthy. Hope to see you back. Can't wait to see you back in the league next year. He's not waiting to know August to make no free agency decision. This will be done.
Does he tell where he's going before August? He can make a decision. But the thing is, does he tell anybody?
I think he knows now. Everybody, I think he knows now. Personally, but we all know LeBron does not do things without already having his mind made up. Kendrick Perkins brought up today, he was with him that last year. He claimed he never knew he was going to the Lakers. Everybody knew 2 years in advance LeBron was going to the Lakers. I go back to, like I said, I've heard the great George Sedano say this every time about LeBron. He don't leave crumbs. He leaves the whole damn loaf of bread on the ground. So when he left for Miami, people knew back in 2008 after the Redeem Team. When he was leaving for Cleveland, Chris Broussard.
Wait, they knew he was going to Miami in 2008?
A lot of people felt in 2008 they knew with the Redeem Team, which originally was that they thought it was going to be him, D Wade, and Melo. D Wade.
I don't agree. They knew he was going to Miami. I knew they was leaving. Everybody knew he was leaving Cleveland. I don't think they did. They knew it was going to be Miami.
And people knew before the decision he was going to Miami.
Well, up until that point, but before then, everybody thought it was Chicago. Matter of fact, they said it was Chicago.
What I heard was from Jeff Katz, who's the producer, and I've heard him Mason Isler. He knew LeBron was going to Miami back in 2008 because his D Wade's brother came to him with a pitch for them to do a drop for them when they was going to make the announcement to be like the NWO of basketball. But LeBron pulled out. Pause.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's how that went, but yeah. Only reason because I know, sir, I know a lot of things, and if Melo didn't take that deal he took, it wouldn't have been Miami, and it wouldn't have been Chicago. It was supposed to have been New York originally, if you really want to get technical. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I think everybody knew LeBron was leaving Cleveland. I think once how everything played, I think once Melo signed that contract where he became a free agent a year or 2 years after
that,
I think that's when it became okay. It's gonna be Bron and Wade, and then we go see who the third person is gonna be. And then when it became Chris Bosh, is we not going to Cleveland. Cleveland's out. It's not going to Toronto. Toronto's out. It was either going down to be either Chicago because of D Wade being from Chicago. They had Derrick Rose. Or Miami, and Miami ended up being the one who moved who moved Earth and Wind and Fire for them.
Oh, they got a documentary coming up.
But yeah,
Chris Broussard, he started reporting about a year in advance that LeBron was going back to Cleveland. He said, "Do not put that out there. That I'll be shocked if you start."
I think that was obvious.
Yes, I do not be shocked.
I think that was
a lot of people was like, "No, I think we all believe he was going back to Cleveland."
Mm-hmm.
Now with the Lakers, I started hearing that back in 2016. People were in denial about it but I know everything we was hearing. 2016, a lot of people felt thin. LeBron was coming to LA. I don't know about Miami, but I knew he was coming to the Lakers beforehand because Katz and a real
estate agent.
Yeah.
Well, he had a house out here before, and he still got his house in Miami. But yeah,
so I think he knows where he's going now. He's just waiting. but I don't think he's waiting till August. I don't think he goes to Fanatics Fest in New York without knowing where he's going to play 2027.
John, I'm with you. I do think in his mind, he knows where he's going. Now, my thing is does he let everybody else know until he see what free agents is, he sees what you know what I'm saying?
Well, he already knows this. There's only 3 teams that got money. The Lakers, Bulls, and Brooklyn. Everything else is the mid level.
You know how the NBA work.
Well, I know he's not.
You know how the NBA work.
He said he claims he's not taking a veteran minimum. So that would put Cleveland out, but I think Cleveland and put all their eggs in the Harden basket, and I don't know if LeBron wants to deal with that. Personally, I don't think
definitely not.
I don't think he wants to deal with James Harden.
Definitely not dealing with James Harden.
Yeah, so I think we'll know probably the first week of free agency. I don't think we'll know June 30th, July 1st.
Hey, wasn't Chris Paul on the Spurs team last year?
Yeah.
All right, never mind. That was just random ass thought. But go ahead.
Yeah. He was there, and then they traded for De'Aaron Fox.
Braun business deals.
Giving away what his decision is. Yeah, you ain't lying there, Tick. So I think we'll know early, but I don't think about when they do Fanatics Fest in the middle of July.
Do you think we know though, John?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we'll know. I think we'll know at least by that first week, by the end when teams can officially put pen to paper.
Wait, other than the Bulls,
and Lakers, we got Brooklyn. Brooklyn's the other team that got money, and I think I think there's only other team that got money is Brooklyn. Because clearly, I know Mark's been bringing up the Washington theory, but if he's going there and then y'all gonna trade Anthony Davis in 6 months, you're already.
Well, what if they don't trade him?
Have we ever given the Wizards the benefit of the doubt to do something right?
Well, I haven't since Jordan took ownership of that team, so no.
And they've been,
but I also think that
they still are a dumpster fire.
I don't think he's going there, but I'm just saying that I said that as a long time ago, John, and you know this. I said it a long time just as a fun theory, but it's starting to catch. Do you see it's starting to be everywhere now?
Yeah. The question is he willing to? Well, we know he's not taking the minimum, but he knows.
I don't think he said in LA wherever he go, Bronny going.
I don't necessarily think that, JT, because I think the Lakers actually like Bronny. I actually think JJ likes coaching him. I didn't think JJ likes coaching.
I think the only people who don't like Bronny is the people who hate his dad.
And Bronny's on a 4-year contract. I mean, granted, he's a second round pick and he's easy to get traded, but I think they like coaching him. I think he's a coachable player. So I don't think it's just a full out guarantee that if LeBron leaves, that Bronny goes with him. Brian Windhorst, who a lot of people know,
LeBron whisperer.
But he broke down the financial side on the Lakers part on why the Lakers would need to know early.
But they don't need to. They can just move on.
Well, that's part of it. What he's getting to. Here's the deal on what the Lakers will probably have to do if they don't know by July 1st with LeBron James.
Well, we have a very interesting panel here to break this down. Three players who played with LeBron James, a reporter who covered LeBron for many years. LeBron said when we get to July or August in that clip. I don't know that he can afford to wait that long, Brian.
Well, you can afford to do whatever.
Oh, sure, very literally.
I hope there's some golf in that vacation coming up. Let me just say that when he said August, that left a reaction in the league. They were like, seriously? People were texting me like, seriously? You think it could be August?
Right.
Let me explain something to you about the timeline for LeBron. I totally get, and he has earned the right to wait as long as he wants. He could wait until September and announce he wants to play, and there would be teams beating down his door to sign him. But if he wants to sign with the Lakers for any significant amount of money, he's probably going to have to make up his mind by mid to late June, because that is what his cap hold is. And that means that number sits on the Lakers' books, even though he's not signed. It sits on the Lakers' books until something happens. What does that happen? Number one, he signs. Maybe he signs for $58 million. Maybe he signs for $28 million. Maybe he signs for $10 million. Or, and look, this is just reality. This is not, I don't think, meant to be insulting or anything. If the Lakers don't get a clear answer from LeBron by July 1st, they may have to renounce his rights and say, LeBron, we have to move on. We have to plan for next season. and then that money would just come off of their books. I would be stunned if that happened, but there is a little bit more of an urgency. And he doesn't have to, he can go on his vacation, whatever. But unless LeBron wants to sign for $3 million somewhere, which is what the NBA minimum is for a player with his experience level, he is going to have to probably come up with his mind sooner. He has made so much money in his career, he could sign for anything.
Yeah.
But if the LeBron that I know wants to be respected, it's not even about the actual paycheck, it's about what the respect that the paycheck includes. And if he wants that respect, he probably will have to move up his timeline.
So that was Wendy talking about it's not the money with LeBron. Clearly, the money ain't the factor, it's the respect. Respect. So if he wants to stay with the Lakers, or if he doesn't, we need to know. So they have to renounce his rights to get rid of that $58 million cap hold, which will free up the money for them to do whatever they got to do in free agency. I personally think he'll let the Lakers know by the draft, maybe right after, if he has plans on staying, if he has plans on leaving, blah, blah, blah. So they know if they have the money to stay, to spend on him or anybody else. But clearly this roster is probably not going to be any significantly different, because you got to make a decision on, because obviously DeAndre Ayton has a player option. They'll probably try to see if they can trade that. Marcus Smart's probably just going to opt out of his contract because I think he played. He could probably get $5 million anywhere else, so that money is not going to really hurt him. And obviously, all eyes will be on what happens with Rui and Austin Reeves. So, and then obviously LeBron is going to be what everyone is going to be focused on. So, I personally think we'll know early with Bron, because he is going to be the top free agent on the board, and then we'll just go from there. And then obviously, when they do Mind of the Game in New York for Fanatics Fest with him and Tyrese Halliburton, it'll be a focus on what went into his decision to sign with fill in the blank. That's what I think. I think we'll know by then. The August part was just him basically seeing who's going to take the bait. And everyone took the bait. We all know LeBron's not waiting till August. He wants to go ahead and get this out the way so he can enjoy the rest of his summer, go do some golfing with Bronny, vacation with the family, get back in the lab, start training, and get ready for year 24.
Why does Wemby only have 4 rebounds?
I really don't know. He's had 7 both first 2 games. He had 21 in game 1. He had 24 in game 1. He had 17 in game 2. Here's Tig's question: how much of a curveball is the new owner? You think the new ownership has a completely different mindset and long-term business-wise, don't care about Brian? You think that's a possibility? Okay, let's start off the first question what Tig said. Mark Walter, like the mass ownership group with Luka. Okay, so Mark Walter, who's now the new owner of the Lakers, who owns the Dodgers. I've been saying it, Mark. I've been saying it to Mark. I say it to Nick. I've been saying it to everybody. I mean, like the Mavs. Okay, the Mavs ownership. Okay, got you. They're going to evaluate everything. I saw where Farhan Zaidi, who's the GM of the Dodgers, former GM of the Dodgers, who's been brought back, working in the front office after, things didn't work out with him with the Giants. I think his dream is to run an NBA team. He has a real passion for basketball and the front office of basketball, and that's why him and Andrew Friedman have been around as consultants for Mark Walter, telling them what they need. That's why the South Bay Lakers are moving to Palm Springs. They're going to be the Coachella Valley Lakers. They're moving to they're going to be playing their games in Palm Springs starting next year. So they're going to expand the practice facility. There are going to be some renovations there, some upgrades there. I tell everybody when it comes to the Guggenheim Group, they did not fire Ned Colletti the moment that the sale was official to Mark Walter, Stan Kasten, Peter Guber, and Magic. They let Ned Colletti run the front office for a year. They found Andrew Friedman in Tampa, and then moved Ned Colletti up to being a consultant to a special assistant to the ownership. They didn't fire Don Mattingly. By the way, Donnie Baseball is doing his thing in Philly still, but still at Philly according to Mark. But they didn't fire Donnie Baseball the first year with Philly. I mean, with the Dodgers. After his contract expired, everyone thought Gabe Kapler, who was the former manager of the Giants and the Phillies, was going to be the manager of the Dodgers because of his relationship with Andrew Friedman. It didn't happen. They interviewed Dave Roberts, and Dave Roberts knocked the interview out the park, and obviously the rest is history. So don't expect Rob Pelinka to be fired instantly. Don't expect JJ to be fired instantly if y'all think that's the case. I think JJ's going to have a longer leash. I think JJ has a longer leash than Rob. But I truly believe they're going to bring in the right people. And when they bring in the right people, it will be at the right time. Trust me. I've seen this for myself. In the last 15 years, the Dodgers have benefited from it. Run the NL West division, 5 pennants, 3 World Series. That's it, Sam. He's here for now. Now, like I said, do you think there'll be a definitely different mindset in long-term business? I think they care about Bron, but I don't think if Bron thinks he's going to get what he thinks he's going to get over the market, that's not going to happen. So obviously they're going to go from the transition from obviously focusing on clutch to what they're doing to their partnership with Bill Duffy, who's Luka's agent. So Bill Duffy's one of the best in the business. So then again, it's Rich Paul. He's a great agent too. And we'll see. We'll just see where it goes from here. But everything's going to be on the time. Everything's on the timetable with the Lakers. But we'll know when the Lakers move to that next level, probably in another year or two, when it comes to the free agency, when it comes to the front office, the facilities, everything. We'll see with the roster and all that. But that's what I think when it comes to that point. We're talking about Bron. This was interesting. So I saw this on Instagram, and I put it in our group chat, where LeBron liked a post telling him to come home and he was back in the old Cleveland Cavaliers jersey. Look, I think Cleveland, only other place I think he would leave the Lakers for is Cleveland. But I don't know if he's going to leave. He's want to play with James Harden. I think he'll love to play with Donovan Mitchell. He'll definitely make Evan Mobley, Jared Allen's life be lovely, because the amount of pick and roll play they can get with them two, I think it will work out. But with James Harden, I don't see Harden and LeBron clicking, because the moment James Harden gets beat, and LeBron ain't no spring chicken when it comes to defense himself now. But you know he's going to give effort, and we know James Harden doesn't. I think the Lakers won't have a big. Yeah, 2 years. I give him about 2 years. About time. The next time we're about to elect a president.
How long did Luka sign for?
His deal is 3 years.
Yeah, I'd say 2 years.
Yeah, 3 years.
Because I don't think Luka. I know Luka. Like, people like Luka here. I don't think when Lakers get to where the Lakers want to be, Luka gonna be on the team.
We'll see. And he's gonna have to prove it, because was Nico Harrison and was Jason Kidd right to move on from him? Bron playing 2 more years, 25 years in the NBA, gonna be a great documentary. You continue. Well, that could see. I mean, if he's going like this, I wouldn't shock me if he's playing another 2 years. I wouldn't. I don't put nothing past this dude. He's currently got father time on the ropes right now. So shout out to Bron.
Well, he doing the father time.
I mean, he's basically
beating it up.
I didn't say that, but him and Father Time he's doing the stuff around. By the way, Jason Kidd was dead grimy. Yeah, he was.
Was he?
Rashad Ujiri made it perfectly clear. if you had anything to do with the trade in Luka Doncic, you were out of here. And it clearly reports were that Jason Kidd also had something to do with it, but also Jason Kidd wanted to be where Masai Ujiri was, president of basketball operations, and the new ownership was not interested in making Jason Kidd the president of basketball operations. And that's why I brought in Masai Ujiri.
Why is he 7'4" and got 4 rebounds? That bothers me.
That's purely effort. That's effort. That has nothing to do with how they're guarding him. That is effort. Because he didn't have 40 rebounds the first 2 games.
Dog, he can wake up and get rebounds. All right, but go ahead. My bad, John.
But yeah, you're right. By the way, career game playoff highs for Jared McCain and Jalen Williams tonight. So shout out to them. De'Aaron Fox played his first game tonight, had 15 and 6. Darren Vassell had 20 and 7, but 4 rebounds for Victor Wembanyama. Nah, you can't do that. If you're going to beat this team, and when they start out on a 15-0 run to start the game and they lose by 15, the irony. This is back-to-back losses for the first time for the Spurs since early January. And they have not lost 3 games in a row all season.
Guess what?
They might Sunday night. And if they do Sunday night, it's over when they get back to OKC Tuesday. Because they're going to want to –
But John, San Antonio need this.
They do.
Victor need this.
Yes.
I think Stephon Castle need this.
Yes.
I think San Antonio is the team because Doug, and my bad, John.
Go ahead, you want. I know where you're going.
All teams outside of like some of the very special teams, had to learn how to lose before they learn how to win.
I'm glad you went there because that's what Michael Wilbon's been saying for a lot of. You're not most of the great players had to go through heartache before they had triumph. LeBron went through it. Kobe went through it. Shaq, Jordan, Hakeem.
There's one person who didn't.
There's only one. Irvin. Russell didn't go through it. Even Kareem won in Milwaukee.
But he still went through some seasons before they won.
But he went through some hardships. But outside of Magic and Russell and Tim Duncan, who's went through hard? How many of our greats have really went through hard? Have had it that easy?
But I'm not counting Bill Russell because I might count that. But when you talk about Irvin, he came in and had Kareem on the team.
Yeah.
When you say Tim Duncan, he came in, he had David Robinson on the team.
Russell had Havlicek, Kuzi, Sam Jones, Casey Jones, Indiana Jones. Oh, yeah.
I just think that San Antonio, like I said, San Antonio is closer to OKC than anybody is in San Antonio. Yeah. I would say that.
Yeah.
But you just have to learn how to lose.
Exactly.
Man. You have to learn. You have to go through all that, man.
Yeah. If they don't win this series, which I don't think they are, this will be good for him because I know he's going to want to go back and win. And you need that type of guy being in face of your franchise where it hurt. You don't. I mean, yeah, we're losing hurts you, and clearly it hurts. See, you could tell he's upset that they lost, and that they're down 2-1, and now they know they have to win 3 out of the next 4 games in order for them to even have a shot at winning the series. So
I mean, the good thing is they got game 4 at home.
Mm-hmm.
They have him. We seen he can go crazy at any given night.
Right.
But the 4 rebounds is not, and I'll be honest with you,
that just makes 0 sense.
Wemby only having 15 shots is not good enough for me neither.
No, he needs to have at least 30. It's 30. He has at least 30.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about in the paint.
Yeah. Because out of them 15 field goals, probably 4 or 5 of them was threes.
He checked. Oh, he did some heat checks.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't like the 15 shot. I know we got talented with players on the team, but I just don't like 15 shots for Wemby.
No, I don't either. Yeah, so this hits how we going, how your playoff weekend is going before we come back to the show on Tuesday. Game 3, Knicks Cavs tomorrow night on ABC at 5:00.
Cavs better win that or they're getting swept.
Yes. Game 4, Spurs Thunder, 5:00 on NBC and on Peacock. Game 4, Knicks Cavs Monday on 5 o'clock on ESPN. Then Game 5, Spurs Thunder back in OKC Tuesday night on NBC and Peacock when we'll be on the air during that show. It'll be me, Mark, Nick. Cody's on vacation right now, so shout out to him.
Shout out to Cody, man. Much love, Cody. I think I seen you in the comments earlier, man.
Yeah, he stopped by earlier.
Much love to Cody. You heard?
Yeah, so
I can't wait till we get the other show going.
Yes, be summertime. Be ready. It's gonna be a great debate. Just letting y'all know that right now.
I don't like y'all. I'm telling y'all that now. John, Nick, Cody, I don't like y'all doing that show.
Yeah, it's gonna be on. By the way, Wings Liberty on Sunday afternoon on NBC. So check that out.
Did you see the Wings today?
Oh yeah, I did. Worst game of Paige Becker's career.
What the number 1 pick do?
I don't even know, but I know they lost.
They got the ass whooped too.
Yeah, they lost. If I'm not mistaken,
Indiana, right?
They lost to Atlanta. Was it ATL? No, I think they lost to the Dream.
Oh, the Dream. They did lose to the Dream.
Yeah, shout out to Raven Simone. John Morant was at that game. But yeah, I want to get to our final segment of the show. We want to go ahead and call it an early show because it's a holiday weekend.
Jeez, she went 3 for 13.
Who?
Paige Becker.
Yeah, that's now worst shooting game.
By the way, 7 points.
By the way, 76 points from the Thunder bench, a playoff franchise record.
Her Fudd went 3 for 9. She had 7 points too.
And again, I'm reserving judgment on this young girl, but like I said, those other players that should have been number 1.
Ryan Howard went crazy.
I bet she did.
25. Angel Reese had 15. She went 15 and 9. Shout out to her.
Oh, it's almost a double dub. We might shout out the double dub. So shout out to Angel Reese and totally making herself comfortable in the ATL. But let's get to the final segment of the show. It's often imitated, it's never duplicated. Some people say stuff in the sports world and they need to get called out for. It is the place we do it. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for calling out names. So I got 2 for calling out names. So let's just get to it. I got 2, Mark. I gave you a choice on which one I should go first. We can go football or I can go fight game.
Let's go fighting.
All right. I know y'all saw over the weekend. We saw the Ronda Rousey, Gina Carano fight, but there was a fight that happened in backstage that people have been talking about. If y'all don't familiar with this picture, that is Carissa Shields in the red slapping Alicia Baumgartner backstage at the MVP MMA event that went down here in LA at the Intuit Dome Saturday night.
They got into it in that dome.
Yeah. Carissa, now MVP Promotions, which is ran by Jake Paul, has announced that Carissa Shields has been banned from all MVP events. Now, Carissa Shields came out and said before this incident, he was trying to sign her to the promotion. And now she's putting out a lawsuit suing MVP and Jake Paul for defamation of character.
Wait, do I see this picture?
Yes.
Where the fuck is the defamation at?
That's what I'm talking about. You slapped her.
That's not AI, right?
No, that's real. That is a still shot.
Where is the defamation at?
I can find the video.
They lied on her?
That Gordon, her. You want to hear her stupid statement? Do you want to hear her stupid statement? I can find it. It's easy work. I'll find a stupid statement. But Carissa Shields is suing Jake Paul and MVP for defamation of character. So I'm gonna play this clip. So I actually have the clip here. So maybe first off, I'm gonna play 2 clips. First, I'm gonna play the clip of the incident between her and
Alicia Baumgartner.
Alicia Baumgartner first.
Let me see what Shorty look like. She don't look that bad on that picture while she's getting slapped.
No, she's the real deal.
No, she look good.
That's what I'm talking about. She is.
Oh, that's why she slapped her.
Yes, they call her the bomb for a reason. So this was the incident between these 2 backstage.
That was strong.
I was in your way.
Hey, get out the way. I want to get in. No. World star. I'll referee.
No, it's Le'Veon Bell trying to diffuse the situation.
I was in your way. Hey, listen, the Quick in the background? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm talking about? That was the best part of that clip. They listen to my nigga Quick, you know what I'm saying?
So they had the DJ Quick playing in the background.
Yeah, man. Shout out to them who had the Quick playing in the background. You heard?
So Carissa Shields, she released this statement talking about how she's suing Jake Paul and MVP Promotions for defamation of character. So we're gonna play this for you guys now.
Both of MVP and Baumgartner's statements were lies. That is defamation of character. For those who saw the video of Baumgartner threatening me, telling me I'll beat your ass right now, biatch. That is a threat. So now that I'm looking at statements and I'm seeing people lie, it's okay because I'm not going to handle it with the law. I'm going to handle it with the court. Y'all going to get sued for defamation of character. All of y'all up over there. So y'all need to get y'all checkbooks ready. Both of
Oh my God.
Let me be perfectly clear why I think this is happening. Jake Paul's trying to get this fight between Alicia Baumgartner and Carissa Shields. So part of me thinks this is a publicity stunt.
I think so.
It's a publicity stunt. Yeah, Rob. Exactly. This is a clear publicity stunt. You're not suing Jake Paul. You're not suing Alicia Baumgartner. Eventually, this will be resolved in the ring, and both of y'all will get paid very pretty.
Very handsomely.
Very handsomely.
You can say that.
Yeah, y'all be very handsomely paid.
John, it's not misogynistic if you say getting paid handsomely.
Thank you.
I know why you stopped yourself.
Right. Good. Thank you. Good looking out. So they're going to get a nice bag, each of them, whenever this fight happens. It's probably going to be an MVP fight. It's going to be on Netflix, and people are going to watch because they want to see Carissa Shields can knock out Alicia Baumgartner.
I would tell Carissa Shields to stay away from court,
please.
As far as I know of, when you become a professional fighter, your hands are legal weapons.
Yes, they are.
And anytime you use your hands in any kind of capacity, guess what?
Mm-hmm.
It's illegal. So you're going to court for defamation of character. You also might implicate yourself in something else worse than that. So just chill, man. Like, you got the slap. Nobody said nothing. Keep promoting the fight, man. Like, stay out of court, though. Don't do that.
But I know somebody who need to be slapped is the Chicago Bears. So the Chicago Bears, we've been talking about this rumor that they were trying to get a new stadium built in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
And today they released one of the most BS statements I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So here's a statement from the Bears. The Chicago Bears have exhausted every opportunity to stay in Chicago, which is our initial goal. There is not a viable site in the city. As a result, the only sites under consideration are Arlington Heights and Hammond. Let me get this straight. Y'all gonna be the Chicago Bears in Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
Arlington Heights is in Illinois, but y'all can go to Hammond, Indiana, which is basically 30 minutes across the state line between Illinois and Indiana.
Oh yeah, it's kind of like the Jets is the New York Jets, but they play in Jersey.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's some bullshit.
This is another ploy for the NFL owners to get public money for our state, for our private.
I hope none of them fans pay for that shit.
Do not.
You the billionaire, sir. Hey, put some money into your investment.
The McCaskey house, the McCaskey family, what are you doing? Y'all are not taking the Bears out of Chicago. If y'all do that, you will be hated for the rest of your lives.
Yeah, be the Indiana Bears, fam.
Yeah, be the Indiana Bears. So I mean, that just sounds great because they love football in Indiana.
Well, they do. They got the Colts.
And that's my point.
And they got the Hoosiers.
You won't. Do not do this.
And Jeff Teague. Oh, my bad.
And Pat McAfee.
He's a great punter. He gets signed with the Indianapolis Bears.
This is stupid. Do not. I repeat. And shout out to Christy. Shout out to Fat. Shout out to all the people.
Why we shout out Bear fans?
Well, those who stay in Chicago, particularly like Christy. Do not. Yep, don't let that happen.
Shout out to Nessa.
Yeah, well,
nigga.
Dude, you good? You good? I saw what you're doing there. You good?
I put his eye on this thing on it.
Yeah. But here's my thing. If you're a Bears fan, don't buy this crap. They're not leaving Chicago at all. And do not vote on this, because if it's on the ballot, they're trying to use taxpayer money to do this. Don't do it.
Don't do it at all.
Don't fall for the trap. I've been there. We've been in there here in LA. We didn't have football in LA for 22 years. And we never begged for public money to get a team back here.
Mm-mm.
And Stan Kroenke was like, I got my money. I'm coming here. And I'm not a Rams fan. He's not a Rams fan. But I will be at SoFi this year when the Broncos play the Chargers. Better believe that. But yeah, Bears fans, don't do this. Chicago, stand up. And that was my call on names. Mark, you got anybody?
I'm sure I did. I was thinking of somebody, but the last couple of days been kind of tough. So nah, I ain't got nobody.
Yeah, it's been tough on me too. So we're gonna get up out of here.
Before we get out of here, man, again, man, I gotta send a shout out to my my bro Doc, man.
Yeah, man, shout out to Doc.
You got family here, dog. You heard?
Absolutely. And let me say something. And I hadn't told you about this. I mean, no one really knows. I suffered a serious loss on yesterday. Person who was like a father to me left here. It's a man by the name of Dwayne Dreer.
Oh, that's the one I met, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a preacher at my church from long years ago. He was like a mentor to me, close friend of my mom. He was like a pop. He was like a father to me. Called him Pops.
Mm-hmm.
He had a real serious battle with liver cancer, and he lost it yesterday at the age of 62. Those who don't know, he actually eulogized Mark's mom 2 years ago. This was a tough loss for me and my mom. She's really trying to process it. I've been trying to process it. But I know he's watching because he's always tapped into the show, always, even when he would just post it up here on his way to his dialysis appointments. He'd be in the house just chilling, watching us. So, Pops, I hope I made you proud. And miss you. Love you. Thank you for everything. From the time I was 14, you was a huge influence on me. And I know this has been rough on moms right now, but we're going to hold it down.
That, man.
Yeah. So Tuesday night, we'll be back to talk about the playoffs. Enjoy your holiday weekend. And we'll see y'all when we see you. This is Sports for You. I'm John. That's Mark. Peace out.
For you, from the coast to you. 3 LA minds talking what we do. From the streets to the stats, from the bar to the chat. Sports for you. Yeah, we run it like that. Hit that link, lock that feed, John. Nick, all that you need. Sports for you. Every day, new seed. From LA roots to the whole world's league.